What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. For those of you who might be new here, my name is Omni. I'm going to be your host today. For those of you returning, thank you so much for tuning in for another episode of Goodbye or Goodbye. Today's contestant is the Kawasaki Z900. This is the SE trim, which means it has some tasteful upgrades over the base model package. Some of you might be wondering, why is this guy wearing his helmet? This is how I started the channel. Up to this point, I've never revealed my face on the channel, but at 20,000 subscribers, that all changes. So if you decide that you enjoy this content and you want to see more of it by the end of it, leave a like on it. And then second, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And then this will come off sooner than later. Also, if you want to help support me, the best way to do it is by using that super thanks feature at the bottom of this video and donating directly to the channel. But of course, I have other options for those of you as well who like to go shopping at brands like Revzilla, eBay, Amazon, and Rurock if you want a super sweet helmet like this one. There will be links below in the description. Those are affiliate links, so if you use one of them, I may be financially compensated, which is greatly appreciated. You didn't come here to listen to a little commercial about Omnimoto, though. You came here to listen to a video about the Z900 SE to get all your questions answered. So let's talk about what we're doing today. First up, I'm going to introduce you to this motorcycle and tell you a little bit about it so you're familiar with what it is that we're working with. Second up on our list, we're going to go over some specifications and talk about some features found on the motorcycle and some updates that are new for this year. After that, I'm going to put my mouth over the exhaust and suck all the fumes out of it. What? Whoa, who put that clip in there? Mr. Editor, it's me. I'm the editor. What we'll actually do is just get you an exhaust clip. That will be segment 3, so you can hear how this motorcycle sounds. And once items 1 through 3 are complete, we're gonna go for a test ride. I'm going to be taking it out and putting it through the paces, testing low speed maneuverability, highway capability, a 0 to 60 test, and maybe a couple other odds and ends in there, and we'll try to get some FAQs answered. And by the time that's all said and done, I should have a verdict for who this bike is for and who this bike is not for. We'll conclude it and wrap it all up. So now that you know what's on the agenda, let's cut to the action. Roll tape! The Z900 was first introduced in 2017. It had a predecessor before that called the Z800, which in my opinion was a little bit overweight for what it offered, but it was still a very cracking machine. But when the Z900 hit the market, everyone was pretty happy with the changes. More power and more lightweight, which was good enough. It's a standout in the naked bike market because it offers exceptional power at an exceptional value. The first generation in 2017 was pretty decent, but then in 2020 we got an updated display, slightly updated bodywork, and that was really it. And this year Kawasaki decided that just wasn't enough. We need to do more. So what did they focus on? It was refinement. And it's worth noting that this bike has some pretty stiff competition in this segment of motorcycle. You have the Yamaha MT-09, which was updated last year and is an amazing machine. We have the Triumph Street Triple 765, which might be down on displacement, but has a very competitive power output. And the thing to keep in mind with this segment of motorcycle is that it's not about displacement. It's about power output, wet weight figures, and how the bike feels in the hand. So bottom line, the Z900 almost sets the standard for what this class of motorcycle should be, but the SE model definitely helps add some value to an already pretty good bike. I think we know enough about the Z900 at this point. Let's break down the specs and see what makes this bike tick. Keep in mind, this is going to be specific to the Z900 SE, so if you're on a base bike, these specs are going to vary quite a bit. But starting up at the front, bringing us to a halt, is a set of 300mm dual disc pinched between a radially mounted Brembo caliper. And leading into that caliper, to improve braking performance, we have a set of stainless braided lines. Our brakes in the rear are not as nice, but that's okay because most of your stopping force comes from that front anyway. Your rear brake is on a 250mm disc with a Nissan caliper. The SE model sets itself apart from the base model with a very, very nice set of 41mm forks. And now for the heart of the beast. Kawasaki in the Z900 uses a 948cc liquid-cooled dual overhead cam inline 4-cylinder. This engine makes 123 horsepower. This power is sent through a 6-speed transmission, but for 2025 it has a neat little upgrade called a quick shifter. Slight bend in my knees while I sit in the saddle. You can see my foot pegs are oriented slightly behind me, and this is what the rider triangle looks like on the screen right now. But that's the beauty in the Z900, is you get a very capable motor and a very capable chassis. And while it may not be able to cut up at a racetrack like a traditional super sport, it is still a very fun bike to ride. The one area where I wish Kawasaki would have focused a little bit more is the weight figure on this motorcycle. This bike comes in at 470-ish pounds, and it makes 120 horsepower, which is very usable, and because of that heft, it does feel fairly stable. But that's MT10 territory, and that bike makes 40 more horsepower, though it does come at quite a substantial price premium as well. So being 470 pounds, no, it's not a featherweight. But we must accept it just the same way that we accept Yo Mama for weighing more than that. Thank you very much. The Z900 has a pretty sizable fuel tank at 4.5 gallons. According to Fuely statistics found online, the efficiency rating on this is about 42 miles per gallon. Combining that with a 4.5 gallon tank and accounting for some variations between rider to rider, we can draw a conclusion that says your usable range, meaning the range that you have before you need to stop to go fill up, is between 160 and 180 miles. Because no one wants to push their bike to the gas station. So with nearly 200 miles of range, this bike makes a really strong contender for those who want to go commuting but also have a spirited ride in the process. Okay, next up, let's talk about some features. Okay, so up at the front, the first thing we're going to check out is this new fascia that they've added for the Z900. I think this is a very welcome update, done very well and looks super aggressive. The brakes on the base model, along with the SE model, are now radially mounted. This should give you an improved sensation whenever you're pulling that lever in. I saw another journalist say that they added a brace somewhere in this frame to make it more stiff, which should improve high-speed riding. The SE model specifically gets some very nice upgraded accents like the green wheels, the color-matched frame, the gold forks, the one-off paint scheme, and that two-tone stitch seat, which should give us a bit more of a premium feel in the saddle. And also doesn't look too shabby. The control boxes received a very, very welcome refresh. They look just like the Ninja 1100 SX control boxes now. I love to see this. That is a cruise control icon where you can set, decelerate, resume, and accelerate. Love cruise control on motorcycles. Absolutely fantastic, and another benefit to a ride-by-wire system. And we definitely need to mention the ride-by-wire throttle. You'll notice as I twist this open, you won't hear a cable opening and closing a throttle body because it's all computerized and the bike is currently off. Let's talk a little bit about the display. You can see that little ball in the middle acts as a gyroscopic measurement device. An inertial measuring unit, if you will, is somewhere on this motorcycle. If I had to guess, it is probably under the seat. And that inertial measuring unit feeds more data to the ECM, which gives us a better riding experience because more data is always better. Another benefit for a ride-by-wire system is a quick shifter. That's right, we have both up and down, a bidirectional quick shifter because of that ride-by-wire application. I'll let you know how this feels out on the test ride. And lastly, the taillight. The taillight has been reworked and it looks pretty stinking good with the design language of the bike. It did lose the signature Z taillight that they had previously, but I don't mind that because you don't see it when you're riding anyway, and this looks to be a little bit more broad, which might give us better visibility. Okay, now that we have completed our feature walk around, I think that you guys have earned yourself a reward. Let's have a listen to the exhaust on the Z900 to see how it sounds. Oh, the sweet, sweet symphony of an inline 4-cylinder. Gosh, you are so beautiful. And I'm very lucky to be out here testing this bike today and bringing you content on it. But we can't forget the guys that make these videos possible. It's Big St. Charles Motorsports. Check out this ad.
Out by St. Louis, on the edge of town, Big St. Charles Motorsports, where your machine is found. From Honda to Yamaha, we got it all. It's the Big St. Charles Motorsports Mega Mall. Family owned, crafted with pride. You find your dream on a powerful ride. Whether it's used or brand new, they got your back. You won't find a deal better than that. At Big St. Charles, they treat you right. 2,000 bikes ready, shining in the showroom light. Financing's easy, whether it's big or small. 636-946-6487. Give them a call. Big St. Charles, where the road begins. Hop on that saddle, rev up that V-twin. They got Kawasaki, Suzuki, and KTM too. Whether off-road.
Thank you for taking the time to watch that. If you decide that you want to buy a motorcycle from them and you want to work with this guy, my email is in my channel description, and you can ask for me as a salesperson if you just give them a call. But anyway, now that all that's out of the way, we need to go for a test ride. So let's hop in the saddle and let's giddy up. Here we go. And here we start the test ride portion of the video in the Big St. Charles Motorsports rider training area. It's always a good idea to get acquainted with a motorcycle that's new to you at low speed first, because that's where a lot of new riders struggle. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to get ourselves acquainted. We're going to find the friction zone on the clutch. We're going to figure out our throttle, test the brakes, and just slowly move the bike around and get a better understanding for how it reacts. And just off the rip, first thing that jumps out to me, I remember the old Z900 being a little forceful into the tank, but I feel much better in this saddle already than last generation. Let's test the brakes. Let's go ahead and set a mark for ourselves. So we are going to jam on the brakes at this line right here next to that little wooden shelf, and we're going to try to stop as quick as possible. Count our parking spots. I believe these are spots that are roughly 8 feet wide. Let's just get a quick check on that. I am every bit of 6 foot 1 inches, which means if I lay down in this spot, okay, so maybe it's closer to the standard like 9 foot width. Let's call it 9 feet wide. So every space will be 9 feet that we have while we stop. Accelerate to 30 from right here, and then brake right by that little wooden plank. Here we go. A little bit of ABS interference, that's all right. We stopped pretty quick. How many spots was that? 1, 2, 3, 4.5. Pretty good. Right around 40 feet to stop from 30. We're still bedding the brakes in though, so that could be improved. Let's continue one more time. Here we go. About 4.25. Let's try it one more time and see if we can improve upon that result. With ABS on this bike, it gives you a ton of confidence, and it feels pretty decent. The lever feels a little, I don't know, it's like remarkably squishy for a stainless setup. I would expect something that feels a little bit stiffer, but that's, I don't know, I guess that's okay. I do like to be able to feel my lever collapsing in, so it's not the end of the world. And it's not a Brembo radial lever. It's actually provided by Nissan. The only Brembo component are the calipers themselves. All right, last one, here we go. That's 4 spots. I mean, that's ABS like fully active and just really holding it down, but 1, 2, oh, that's 3 spots. Oh my. Is that right? Yeah, I guess so. So I guess call that 3 spots. 9 times 3, 27 feet from 30 miles per hour. That's pretty solid. Next up, let's try getting this thing turned as tight as we can. Let's come to this line and let's try to cut some tight circles. Here we go. And full lock. We're within 2 spots. Really let this thing lean. Okay, I mean, that's super tight. Great turning radius on this bike, and even though it's a little heavy, I felt pretty confident at low speed there, letting the bike lean at full lock. Okay, we've done that much. I think we've proven this bike is pretty capable at low speed. And it doesn't seem to mind being ridden slow. Seems to be a bike that's okay with that. Which for a bike that's a little bit under 1,000 cc's, you'd think it might be chomping at the bit to giddy up and go. But I think our selectable ride modes and this ride-by-wire throttle really help out. Man, that first to second gear click on that quick shifter, if you don't have it revved up, it's a little clunky, it's a little rough. Every other gear outside of first to second is pretty smooth. Second to third, third to fourth, feels very well done. Mirrors, they work. I can see behind me. There's about 50% usability, so your perspective may be a little bit off, but me, I'm catching this much of the mirror. From here out is usable. From here in, totally useless. All I can see is myself. But minimal vibration in the mirror, and yeah, they do get a little buzzy on the higher end RPM, but let's keep in mind this is a motorcycle. There are a series of thousands of tiny explosions occurring between our legs every minute, so some vibration is to be expected. Dang, look at that dog having a good time. Oh, to be a dog with your head out the window on a 60-degree overcast day in mid-Missouri. Good for you, buddy. And I'm really enjoying my time so far. Bike is a peach. Around town, ride-by-wire throttles are normally not awesome because on the open and close, there's usually some stuttering and some uncertainty and lurchiness. But what I think a lot of individuals forget about is the ride mode that you're in. There is like no reason for us to be in sport mode around town where throttle responsiveness is turned up. So yes, whenever it is in sport mode and you are leaving a stoplight, you may experience a jittery sensation from your throttle because it's in sport mode and it thinks, as soon as I turn, I want power, power, power. But in road mode, I'm finding that opening and closing, like I'll even go to a short gear, I'll go down to first, and that's opening the throttle, coming off and back on. It's surprisingly smooth for a ride-by-wire system. So I appreciate that Kawasaki took time to refine not just the bike and the looks, but the inner workings of it. It's very smooth. Oh look, fellow bikers. What up? Oh man, I keep trying to use that first and second quick shifter, and I did it again, and it's just smashes into second. But second to third is just gravy. Downshifts all the way through, super nice. But this first to second, oh gosh. And it's important to note that this is still a new motorcycle, so things are still getting mated. It may not smooth out until a few hundred miles in, whenever you've rode it through the gears a handful of times. So not crapping on it, just making an observation for a brand new bike. What makes a good naked bike? It's a great question to ask yourself, and really I guess it boils down to personal preference. But to me, what makes a very nice naked bike is something that bridges the gap between the super sport world and a more classic standard motorcycle, but doesn't skimp on features and still delivers value at a good price. The Z900 and the MT-09, I think, are the best exceptions coming out of Japan for this class of motorcycle. Personally, I think the MT-09 might be a better bike. I have ridden one at a demo day, and it had me torn. I was like, man, should I trade in my MT-10 for this? Go down in displacement for a bike that just has incredible responsiveness, is crazy lightweight, and there's power everywhere? I was strongly considering it, but I can't give up the CP4. But back to the Z900. This bike has a ton of great qualities as well, similar to the MT-09. My one gripe, as I've already mentioned before, is that it's just a little bit heavy. Though that doesn't stop it from being fun and usable and practical and capable, because it's all of those things. And for a base model to come in under $10,000, it's hard to find a motorcycle that gives you similar specs for that kind of money. Especially not a motorcycle that does a little bit of everything exceptionally well. If you want to go to a track day, sure, you might not have a chance against the Super Sport 600s or 1000s, but you're still going to go out there and have fun and have a very capable bike that you can learn a lot about, while also learning about yourself as a rider. And I think taking a bike like this to a track day, where it's not really born to be at, will just make you better, because you'll understand how it responds to various situations you might throw at it in regard to elevation changes while cornering, accelerating, all of that stuff. Talk about the display for a moment. Very, very crisp, and it doesn't lag, it isn't glitchy, everything seems to work, and it's very easy to navigate and get along with. So if I want to run it down into rain mode real quick, I just hold mode down and it tells me I'm in rain mode now, which is great. That's very easy to understand. My quick shifter's active, I've got my engine temperature here, it works. It tells me the main information that I want to know, like my gear position and my speed and my RPM right in the middle. And then you've got your little lean angle sensor for that inertial measuring unit in there. Ooh, those Brembos are starting to bite now. Whew! A lot of bite. Yo! Yeah, that's pretty strong. Okay, maybe they just needed bedded in. Rain mode would be an awesome candidate for rolling around in, well, obviously a rain, or just unideal conditions where maybe you're not familiar with it and don't need so much power immediately. So let's go up into sport mode, because we're going to get on the interstate here, and we're going to open this bike up a little bit. Let this thing breathe. Put us in first. Red line's at 11-ish thousand. We're at 42. Let's wait a minute. Do it safely. Don't be a jerk. Swing over here. Little Z900, you are quite an impressive candidate. We just rolled up to a crisp and brisk 127 miles per hour, I think. We could have probably blown clean past that and made our way to 140, it felt like. I don't know how much more we have after that, if any, but we got up there pretty damn quick, and even for this being heavy, it felt like it was not struggling at all, even on a windier day like today. But I tell you, my right wrist sure is tired. I better set my cruise control and give myself a break. Yeah. And if I want to cancel cruise control without having lurch, open your throttle a little bit and just touch that back brake. Now your cruise control's canceled and you didn't immediately hunch forward. So a little pro tip for you there. Oh, and a neat thing about the cruise control, this is a very minor feature, but it tells you what you had it set at. So if you want to just hit resume, it will ramp it back up to 64. That is pretty cool. I'm going to shut that off right now. For those of you returning, you know where we're going. We're going to our testing grounds, the proving grounds, to see how quickly we can get this bike from 0 to 60. Nice little stretch of desolate road over here with very minimal traffic, which is good for us and society. Ooh, and who's that? Is that a police officer? It sure is. We better go have a chat. Well, we did this in our last video too, whenever we tested out the Suzuki Boulevard M109R. Looks like we do not have self-canceling turn signals. The MT-09 has that. Take notes, Kawasaki. What's up, playa? All right, nice, respectable, and professional. Here we go. Afternoon, officer. How you doing, man? Oh, I'm just dandy out here riding a motorcycle. I actually did this, I think 2 weeks ago. So this little stretch of road over here is pretty desolate and sparse with traffic. I do videos on these, I review them, and I put them through the paces. I just wanted to come over and alert you that if you heard something going on over there, it's probably me doing a 0 to 60 test. 60 kilometers.
60 miles an hour.
Right, 60 kilometers per hour. So, I just wanted to come over and be straight with you. If you'd prefer me to go somewhere else and do this, I will. I'll just find somewhere else.
As long as you're not endangering anybody, you're not breaking anything.
That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just out here trying to give people information, is all.
Okay.
So that's it, man. Like I said, I just want to come over and give you a shout and let you know.
Right.
Try to be respectful about it.
Okay.
All right, have a good day, man. Be safe. Thank you. Maybe we don't do the wheelie test over here. I feel like the wheelie test is perhaps frowned upon by law enforcement, regardless of what you tell them. But we'll try to be quick, get in and out of here, and make sure to use our time wisely and not give him a chance to get pissed off about anything. Before we start, it's probably wise to shut off traction control so we don't run into problems like we did during our CBR 650R test ride video, where the traction control... Can I not turn traction control off? Do I have traction control? I'm pretty sure I do. Maybe I don't. Okay, we'll get ourselves set and ready. 3, 2, 1, go. Nope, I botched that launch. Let's go again. 3, 2, 1, go. What is happening? Why can I not figure that out? 3, 2, 1, go. See, this thing does have traction control. What the hell is happening, and how do I shut that off? Stop! Did you forget to hit that subscribe button? That's okay. I'll forgive you. It is never too late, and I accept your apology. Please consider hitting that so that you can see when I upload. Thanks. Back to the video. Okay, engine speed, KQS, immobilizer. Here, maybe I can go back. Maybe I go up into mode, go to my individual rider setting, or maybe users all the way at the bottom. God dang it, dude, this is so annoying. Okay, I need full power, traction control off. That's it. Goodness gracious. That took so much. So you have to go to your rider mode to get traction control off. That's what we've learned today about the Z900. Goodness gracious. Okay, here we go. One more time. 3, 2, 1, go. 60. Okay, that felt pretty quick. Let's do it one more time because my takeoff was pretty sloppy. 3, 2, 1, go. 60. I'm still not satisfied. I know I can do better. I know I can. For my own pride and my own ego, I must turn around and I must go again. You guys want the answers. I gotta bring them. So let's do this. All right, last one. 3, 2, 1, go. 60. Okay, all right. I'm satisfied with that one. That one felt very, very fast. Okay, now let's go to road mode for some... Actually, no, we can't. We can't go to road mode because traction control will turn on and I'm never going to know if this thing does a wheelie on its own or not. Ah! Does the Z900 wheelie? Of course it wheelies. You know it does. Baby! course, the Z900 wheelies. Is it even a question? If it is, it's a stupid-ass question. That felt pretty good. That felt really good. That was one of my better wheelies on this channel. But again, we cannot abuse the privilege that we've been given by the lords at Big St. Charles Motorsports. We must respect their bikes and not 12 o'clock them. Not that I would anyway. I don't think that anyone is trying to 12 o'clock 450 plus pound motorcycle. Maybe a little clutch up action. Yep, coming in pretty hot. Let's use our brakes to bring us to a nice controlled stop. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Alright, we better get back. The GoPro is almost dead and I still have to tell you guys my closing thoughts and give you the verdict on this thing. I really enjoyed it so far. Back whenever I was looking at my MT10, this bike was on my list as a contender, but it didn't have cruise control. Now, if I was in that same predicament, I would have a really tough time choosing. This bike has such good value and comes in at an incredible price compared to the MT10. Oh, here's a nifty little feature, the Kawasaki positive neutral finder. So from first gear, no matter how hard I pick up on that shifter down there and try to go into second, I'm just gonna find neutral every time. Neutral only. Only when you're stopped though. If you're moving, obviously you can go clear through to second. It's like a one-way bearing. So as long as you are not moving and that one-way bearing is not preventing whatever shaft in there from clicking into second, you will only find neutral, which is super convenient. And a very nice feature that is easily overlooked. Hey, what up, MT09 guy? MT09 SP too. It's a very nice bike. Direct competitor to the Z900 SE, in fact. How neat is that? Oh gosh, that quick shifter first to second, man, that needs some work. It's supposed to be seamless, and this I guess if you load it up right, it's more seamless, but just like rolling on the throttle and using a quick shifter casually like I like to do and like many others like to do, gosh, that needs some work. Gotta polish on that Cowie, but so far, man, what a great bike. But let's make a verdict. Let's talk about it. Likes, dislikes, who it's for, who it's not for. Let's have this discussion. Here we go. Okay, let's start with the negatives first. The seat height at 31.9 inches is a little on the taller side and may not be friendly for newer riders. But then again, this bike isn't really targeted at newer riders. It's for a more experienced variety. It's heavy for what it is and the segment that it's competing in. It is the heaviest in the class. There are some trade-offs there, which we'll touch on in a moment when we talk about the good. Wind protection is non-existent. It is in the name of this style bike. It's naked. Just like you have no wind protection if you go outside wearing no clothes and you're naked, this bike is the same way. It's naked. So wind protection, minimal. The wind is abysmal. Yes, get you a set of earplugs, get a taller windscreen, and get over it, because it's actually pretty damn fun once you can see through that. But it is a little bit of a drawback for highway riding and commuting, so just keep that in mind. And the riding position, I found that for me, I fit on this bike like perfect. My knees tuck right into the tank where they're supposed to. I don't really mind the peg to seat distance. For a naked bike, it's okay for comfort, but it's not top of list for comfort in the world of motorcycles. But bottom line, if you're a smaller rider looking for a ride with more wind protection, a few more amenities, and a bit more comfort, the Z900 is more than likely a good bike. But now we should talk about the positives and what makes this bike good. Let's start at the price. This is probably the biggest factor for this motorcycle. A base model is under $10,000. The SE model here is only like $1,800 more, which is insane value. If you look up a set of Öhlins front and rear for the set, you're gonna spend more than that. And beyond the suspension, you're getting Brembo brakes, you're getting stainless braided lines, the kind of one-off color with the color match frame and the wheels, and then that seat to top it all off. The SE trim, in my opinion, is more than worth it. The overall refinement to this motorcycle, it has been in long standing since 2017. That makes 8 years of production for the Z900 with numerous updates along the way without messing with what's at the core of it, which means that you have a bike that has been tested and proven. There's nothing inherently wrong with it at its core aside from the weight figure, really. The engine and transmission are both great, and the new additions of the ride-by-wire system with the up-down quick shifter just make it that much better. And then finally, performance. I think 120-ish horsepower is really all that you need for the street, and it's very usable and easy to get along with. And being able to dial down the throttle responsiveness with those selectable ride modes just makes it that much more approachable and customizable for your day-to-day riding, whatever you might be doing. You can set it up and have it respond how you want to, which I think is super crucial for a bike that's supposed to do a multitude of things fairly well. And I think that's it. That's going to go ahead and conclude my verdict. For all of those reasons that I just listed, you should look at a Z900 or a Z900 SE, like this one here in front of me, and say goodbye. Just make sure that before you do, you give us a call at Big St. Charles Motorsports. Ask to speak with Omni on the metric side. Okay. Now, I think the other guy has something to say, so I'm going to throw it to him in the outro. Go ahead, big fella. Wow, hey, thanks, guy. Appreciate you throwing it back to me. Hello, welcome to the end of the video. If you enjoyed this content, and I mean really genuinely enjoyed it, please consider leaving a like on this video. And if you liked it so much that you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Remember, every sub that gets us closer to 20,000 subscribers, this helmet has a better chance of coming off sooner. If you want to support me, that super thanks button is the best way to do it at the bottom of this video. But if you don't feel comfortable doing that and you'd rather spend your money somewhere else, please just make sure you consider using my links in the description below for brands like Revzilla, Rock Helmets, Amazon, and eBay. Once more, those are affiliate links, so if you use them, I may be financially compensated, which would be tremendously appreciated. Oh man, it is so hot out here in this helmet. I can't wait to take this thing off. Make sure if you guys have questions that you put them in the comments below. That is gonna go ahead and wrap this one up. I wanna say thank you once more so much for watching. I tremendously appreciate it. Thank you so much for getting this channel where it's at. I can't wait to be face to face with you guys. Whoever you are watching, I hope you have a wonderful week. Please, 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 ride safe.
Come on.